We're still on the sex education matter, but today we're looking at hormones, intimacy, and sex. Essentially, the connection between all three things. And with me to discuss this is Dr. Tolulope Oko-Igaire. Dr. Tolulope is the founder and head therapist at the Intimacy Clinic. She's a certified internationally trained clinical relationship and marriage counselor, sex therapist, family life coach, and matchmaker. Dr. Tolu has received numerous awards both in Nigeria and abroad, and is currently the executive director of the Institute of Counseling in Nigeria. She's also the host and producer of the TV and radio talk show Intimacy Clinic with Dr. Tolu. Welcome, Dr. Tolu.
Thank you for having me.
I am literally giddy with excitement. I've just been saying, oh my God, I'm going to have Dr. Tolu on my show. I'm so excited. As you know, this is a topic that I think we cannot talk enough about. So let's delve right in.
Right.
What is hormones, intimacy, sex?
So I would say hormone is a substance that is released into the body, more like a chemical that is released into the body, into your system, more like a kind of connection between your cells and your organs. So
let's simplify it for non-medicals like myself.
Okay, so hormones are chemicals that are released to your system to make things happen.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. So your brain sends certain signals to your body to make certain things happen.
Okay.
So those signals are like hormones. They're like chemicals that are released into your body to make certain things happen.
Okay.
And then to me, I would just simply put intimacy as a sense of deep connection that you feel with another person.
A sense of deep connection.
A sense of deep connection that you feel with another person. And of course, sex is a physical act, but to me, it's deeper than that, you know. So when you are talking about intimacy, you are looking at physical connection, emotional connection, mental connection, and in a lot of cases, spiritual connection. So the physical aspect is more like the sex aspect. But for me, I see sex beyond that, beyond just physical as well. But the truth is, people can have sex with you without being emotionally connected, without being spiritually connected, or mentally connected. But I feel like great sex also happens when those four things are also in place. So intimacy and sex are interwoven, especially when you are really into the person.
What does hormone have to do with any of this?
So hormone drives sex in a lot of cases.
Really?
Hormone drives intimacy in a lot of cases. So it's more like you want to have sex. Like we said, it's something that is like a chemical that is released to your system. So it's more like your brain is saying, I want to have sex. Without those things being released to your system, you are not feeling that desire, you know. So hormones give you, you know, more like a trigger, you know, to be able to have that sex or that intimacy that you want to have. Or it can even be any other thing, but because we are, you know, limiting this to sex and intimacy, hormones triggers.
So without the hormone, the sex is not even going to happen in the first place.
It will, but it might. Of course, I mean, I think it can happen, but it's not just going to be like the way you want it. So, like I said, that's why I said to me, sex is beyond the physical aspect. So you really want to enjoy it, you want to connect with the other person. I think your hormones has to play their roles.
What are these hormones? Can you give me some of the key hormones at play?
So we have estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. These are sexual hormones because, of course, we are limiting this topic to sex. And of course, oxytocin, the bonding hormone. In fact, as a matter of fact, it is believed that oxytocin helps to promote monogamy.
Really?
Yes.
Oxytocin?
Yes.
Which is the cuddle hormone?
Yeah. So it's more like a bonding hormone. It bonds. So if you look at couples that are drifting apart and are struggling with monogamy or intimacy, you might want to check the level of hormones that is being released between the two of them. Wow. Now, or into their system when they are together. Now, so for oxytocin, oxytocin, it's believed to be released from the breast milk to a child. when a mother is breastfeeding a child, oxytocin is released, and that's why they say, can a mother forget? So you see, you get that level of connection you see between a mother and a child. You have it between a man and a woman because they are able to bond at a certain level, and that oxytocin is kept being released into their system, and then you see them, having that level of connection. Like, it's not something that happened in a day, but when it's consistent, you begin to feel this sense of intimacy. That's why I feel sex is beyond physical. Like, you have to connect at a certain level, to get that level of connection that you are looking for.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've also heard about
endorphins
and dopamine.
So they put you on top of your game. These are hormones that want to. So you see a woman that is looking more beautiful, upwardly mobile, even a man that is on top of his game. Check the levels of chemicals that are being released into their system during intimacy.
Wow.
So when you see a woman that is happy, that is agile,
that is glowing,
that is upwardly mobile, check the level of hormones.
Things are getting done.
Exactly. Check the kind of hormones that is being released. That's why you see a lot of women, when sex is not great, even men, but a lot of women in a lot of cases, because the major hormone for men, apart from the endorphin and all of that, is testosterone, which is why in a lot of cases, so I tell women, your husband is going to desire sex more than you because he has testosterone. That hormone, women has testosterone, but very little. It's about 25 to 45% higher in men. That's testosterone. So in a lot of cases, except in rare cases, a man is going to desire sex more than women because hormone drives our mind. It drives our, like, it's connected to the brain. So you are thinking, it's pushing you, and you are thinking like, I'm the one thinking it. Your body is acting it because it's more like a chemical. When it's just like you had red and blue together, you get green, So when this thing is released to your system, certain reactions has to take place.
So what about men who would say, or women who would say, but I'm in a relationship and my husband and I don't have sex that often. How do you respond to that? Because you're saying the testosterone means that the man will want to have sex more than the woman.
Yes.
But there are lots of relationships that the man are the ones not wanting to have sex with the woman.
They must be in crisis in a lot of cases, except it's a choice. I mean, I see a lot of couples, and I tell you, a lot of marriages, especially in this part of the world, when it comes to sex, are in crisis. And I mean, people say it a lot of times that the easiest way to stop making love to a woman is to get married to her.
Wow.
So you see, men are really crying in marriages these days. I don't even envy them. Men are crying. And I feel like in a lot of cases, when this, bring it back to hormone, when this feel good hormones are not being released to your system a lot of time, so you practically stop having the urge, because this hormone drives your urge, drives your desires, so you stop having all of that as a woman. So when you don't have it, you are not looking forward to the next time you're going to have sex. So I feel like if people are able to put themselves inside intimacy, inside this sex, and get the hormonal benefits that come from it, it's going to improve it the next time. It will make it get better because they keep feeling like, when those things make them feel good, they look forward to it the next time. And the more they do it, the better it becomes.
So, wow. So essentially, without the hormones being released, there may be a challenge with the level or the quality of the sex.
Yes, I think so.
And the level of intimacy.
100%.
But then in the reverse, without the intimacy happening,
the hormones
stop being released.
Yeah.
So they all kind of
work.
like
at a point, especially when you stop getting intimate, you might need to push yourself into it. So if you push yourself into it, you get the benefits, and then you feel like doing it better the next time. Because like you said, if you don't do this, this won't happen. And without this, you don't feel like doing this. So you need to psych yourself, find yourself into it so you can get the benefits. And like you asked earlier, The reason why a lot of couples are drifting apart sexually is because this thing is not being released into their system. So after some time, they just lose it completely.
Okay, so let me ask, based on the world we live in. Yeah, Nigeria is tough.
Yeah.
People are going through a lot.
Yeah.
How are they going to even be thinking about? A lot of people will tell you that I don't even have the energy to think about sex, let alone say, okay, I'm going to cuddle, I'm going to, how do you advise they get around all of that?
So I say this, people say, oh, I don't like sex, I'm stressed, because it's why it boils down to what we are saying, because they are not getting the benefits. Like so for me, I see sex as a stress relief.
Yes.
Because that's what it's meant to be. When you have sex, all of these feel-good hormones are released into your system. You are calm, you
can
are
think
happier,
clearly.
you are more agile, you feel good. As a woman, you even feel good about yourself. You feel sexy. You feel this level of
What
femininity.
about the man?
Even as a man, you have this masculine, masculine strength, thought in your head.
Your ego.
It helps you to lift that ego and you feel good about yourself.
Because men will tell you, I'm there chasing money, you're talking to me about sex.
In a lot of cases, men, in fact, in most cases, only in rare cases, men will want sex. So, yes.
There's some men that will probably disagree with you,
Men
actually.
I agree that there are some men, there are people that are asexual. People don't even want to have sex at all. And a lot of people are in that case, especially even in this country. And we don't even talk about it. And they are married. And they don't even want to have sex at all. They are naturally like that. They are born that way.
But
right?
if you say
testosterone.
Yes.
Yes, like I said, in almost all cases. So there are rare cases where people are just like that. So maybe people like that, if you test their level of testosterone, but it's not just for men anyway, for both male and female, there are asexual that they just don't want to have sex. So I'm sure, this I've not researched, but I'm sure it might have something to do with the level of hormone in their system. Right. So now talking about the fact that some men will say, I see it, I'm chasing money, and you are talking about sex. It's very African. Really.
Yes, it is.
It's very African.
Yeah.
And the truth is, if you understand the benefit that comes from sex, you will have the sex because it makes you to think better, to even make the money that you want to make.
So in layman's term, if you want to make a lot of money, have a lot of sex.
Have sex. You're going to think straight. You're going to feel good. See, I say this. Whatever happens in the bedroom is going to dictate what is going to happen in the boardroom. Right. So
Very true.
Yeah. So if you feel, and it's so crazy with men, because erection is egoistic. Men's sexuality is attached to their ego. So when you feel little in the bedroom, when you are entering the boardroom, even if everybody is looking at you at the top, you are looking at yourself at the ground, like I'm nobody, I'm not, because you are not fulfilled in the bedroom. Take charge. See a man that is a charge in the bedroom, that is being fulfilled, that is being satisfied. When that happens, those feel-good hormone is released to your system. And then you are more bold, your ego is intact. When you are entering the boardroom, you are feeling like a don. That's the truth. That's the truth.
Wow.
And for women as well, it's the same thing. You are happier, you are fresher, you are more beautiful. I tell women that if they are begging you for sex, number one, you are not even enjoying it. Because women even have the capacity to enjoy sex more than men. So why should they beg you for it? It's because in a lot of cases, I also think a lot of African men are not too good when it comes to making love to a woman. Because women's sexuality is complicated. So it takes a lot. So our men will be like, I don't have time, like you have said. Yeah. So they don't want to go. Meanwhile, if you go through that route, and what you call like, I don't have time for all of that. When you go through that route, at the end of the day, you have a woman who is sexually active in your hand, and it makes life easier. Like when you see women that are naggy, check their sex life. Women that get angry so easily, check their sex life. But that's the truth.
It is the truth.
It is the truth.
It is, and it's ironic because when people used to say to me in the past that oh, I have a female boss who is always nagging and she's difficult. I'm like, does she have a man? And if they're like, she doesn't have a man.
You can gang up and get a man to make her feel good.
It sounds odd because people are probably like, why are you guys talking about sex in the morning? But it is important because from everything you've said, it's part of the cycle of life.
Yeah.
You cannot run away from it.
Interestingly, if sex is bad in marriage, for example, so we have to talk about these things anyway. If sex is bad in marriage, you are going to have a dysfunctional family. Take it or leave it. It's deep, but I'm just going to put it that way.
Yeah.
If sex is not working in marriage, you're going to have a dysfunctional family. Wow. Yes.
Wow. Wow. Can you have intimacy without sex?
You know, this is something that a lot of people would debate. But I will be, yes, I'm sure, of course, you can have intimacy without sex. But it's difficult.
It's difficult.
Yes.
Why?
Don't forget the components of intimacy include mental connection, emotional connection, even spiritual connection. And then there is a physical connection where the intimacy comes in, where sex comes in. You know, so how do you get intimate with somebody? And then, now, there could be, I'm trying to say something, but I'm thinking, am I not taking it out of context? Currently, in the world, there are close to like 50 different types of non-monogamy. So you can be in a... and we do that in Africa anyway. It's just that we pretend about it. I think we are very hypocritical. You know, so you could be in an emotional relationship with somebody. Maybe the person has problem with erection, like a man or a woman on a wheelchair. You just love this person. You love being around them. You connect. They makes you feel good. But they don't have the capacity to sleep with you. So that way you could decide, like the two of you could talk about it, that you know what, you can have sexual relationship with another person. But I feel like being with you, I enjoy being with you. But if it's not something like that, especially maybe you're in an emotional relationship, it's a contract called marriage. And so in marriage or in an emotional relationship, you are expecting that there should be sexual intimacy and the person is not able to perform. I don't see that working.
Some people will argue with you as well, because some people will say, what about till death do us part, unconditional love? What about all those things?
See, a sexually frustrated woman is like a time bomb waiting to explode. Not even to talk about a sexually frustrated man. So let's not deceive ourselves. Forget till death do us part. I want to have sex. I want to feel good. How will marriage even work without? Emotional. What do you call emotional intimacy? Sex is a level, it's a higher, you know, like form of the highest level of vulnerability.
Okay, so let me take this to general. Not everybody's married. Yeah? We talk a lot about this in the context of marriage. But let's be real.
Yeah.
This, you know.
Agreed, 100%.
So, what about the people who they're not married? What about them? Are you saying that they can't have good sex and intimacy? They're going through the same things. Everybody's going through the same thing.
Hormone in their system.
Yeah.
Telling them the body saying, you know, it gets to a point at certain times of the month, your body is saying, especially for a woman, your body is saying, I just want to have sex. We don't talk about this before your few days before your period. Everything in your body begins to change. You are going to feel it.
So what, your hormones?
Your hormones are messing with your body. And it's going to happen. Like for a lot of people, you know, the breasts become, you know, more tender, you know, you feel horny, you know, you feel this feminine, you know, sense of feelings, you know. And
so how do the men deal with that?
How do you mean?
Because if a lot of men don't necessarily understand that before a woman's period, she's more desirous of sex, and it's a hormonal thing. Right. It's not her being difficult.
Right.
How?
I think it's more about education and information. Men need to really understand. In fact, even if you don't know about hormones or all of this, you should know that there are certain times of the month that she wants it. She feel like I really want to do it. So so I think it's something that we can't overlook. Hormones, like you said, whether you are married or single, you are still going to feel the same thing. Especially at that time of the month for a woman. So for men, I think there is need to be more conscious, to understand that at a particular time of the month, I can even, in fact, it's easier for women that struggle with intimacy or sex. It's easier to get into them at that particular time of the month. But whether you are single or married, you are going to feel these things. And I think we really need to tell the single guys and single ladies that, you know what, you are not a bad person for feeling all of these things. It's normal. Your body is going to feel. And please stop conditioning yourself and telling yourself, oh, I'm a terrible person. I'm a sinner. Why am I feeling like this? Why am I feeling honey? Like, it's okay. It's part of your life.
It's science.
It is. So there's nothing you can do about it. It's going to come. Even if you don't want to, if you choose to be celibate or you don't want to have sex, fine if you choose to, but please don't send wrong signals to your brain.
What happens if you do send wrong signals to your
You
brain?
are going to struggle
How
when
so?
you are now ready. You see, because what you are doing, when you feel all of these beautiful things, and then you are feeling guilty, you are feeling sober, I'm a bad person, and why should I feel this? You are telling your body not, you are sending signals to the brain. And when it's time, the level of hormones that is going to be released to your system are going to be reducing gradually because you are sending that message across.
So you're saying there's a hormonal conflict?
Yes, not more like conflict. It's just telling your body what to do. So after some time, it's more like conditioning. The brain understands. It's like teaching you, because before anything is released to the system, the brain sends the message. So you are passing message to the brain. Stop sending me this signal. Stop sending me this signal. I'm a bad person. When you send it, I feel terrible. I feel guilty. Stop sending it, right? So when you are now ready, you think, because a lot of us think like sex is a switch. So when you are ready, you now make pump. Let's start. Your brain cannot respond anymore.
Wow.
So you are not a bad person for feeling all of these things, for feeling, these things, like you really want to have sex, you want somebody to touch you. You're not a bad person for feeling it. And it's okay. So if you don't want to do it for whatever reason, it's okay, but don't send wrong messages. Maybe you tell yourself, you know what, don't worry, I know this feels good, but I don't want to do it. Maybe you give yourself reasons why you don't want to, if you don't want to. But don't just send wrong messages to your brain.
Don't shut it down.
Don't shut it down.
Because it'll be difficult to get it back.
Yes, you can't wake it up like this. You are going to struggle. In fact, in a lot of cases, it's going to take you, the way you conditioned is how you have to recondition it. And you even need therapy in a lot of cases before you can recondition it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so I'm going to go back to hormones, intimacy, sex. Can you please give us 3 to 5 pieces of advice on how to live a healthier sexual life?
So I think the first message I will pass across is for parents to teach their children. You need to be open about sex. Not how necessarily, not how to have sex, or not the skills of lovemaking. That's not the same thing as sex education. Teach your children. Menstruation is hormone that is reacting when you are seeing your period. So teach them about all of these things. Let them understand that they are going to feel certain things at certain times.
Because children have these same hormones
They
as well.
have it.
So a 13-year-old girl who has entered puberty
will
have the hormones funny. A few days before,
yes,
and will be horny.
Yeah, see, in fact, sexuality is, we are sexual beings. So even a 2-year-old, that's why you see a 2-year-old will be touching herself and be feeling good. It's sweet, even when she doesn't know. The brain doesn't. She doesn't know what it's all about.
And the boy,
a boy, it's sweet. when he touches himself, it feels sweet. But he doesn't even know what is happening. And that's why parents, so it brings it back to the first point, like sex education. That's why parents, you see your child, maybe, especially for the boys, they are more adventurous, and you see your child touching himself, and then you're like, stop that, devil, demon, why are you doing that? You know, those kind of a thing. What kind of a child is this? And the child cannot understand. Why is mommy angry with something that is sweet? So you're already distorting the stages of sexual development by doing that. I'm not saying encourage that, but don't shut it down at the same time. So you must find a way to balance this. So that's number one. Sex education is very important. And it's important for parents to understand the stages of sexual development. In fact, stages of development in children. But because we are talking in context of sex, you need to understand the stages of sexual development in children so you know what to watch out for at every stage in the life of your child. So that's a good information I would like to pass across. And to those that are probably not having sex or single, I would let you guys know that it's okay to feel good, to feel all of these feelings. It's not a bad thing. So don't shut it down. Because if you shut it down, you're going to look for it when you are ready for it. So don't shut it down. Okay. Right. And I would tell those that are married or those that are sexually active that if you have gotten to a point when you don't feel like doing it, please push yourself a little bit. Push up, because if you are able to push yourself a little bit and you enjoy the benefits, it will help you the next time you want to do it. So you keep the more you do it, the more you feel like doing it.
And there are lots of benefits.
Yeah.
Dr. Tolu, oh my God, I'm so excited. Oh my God. Wow, that has been super packed and so intense and so educational. And I really, 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 really hope that we've been able to just break it down and simplify this whole thing and demystify this whole thing. Thank you so much, Dr. Tolu.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And you are doing a great job.
Thank you.
We need to talk about these things, and you are doing a great job.
Thank you so much. So we've got a few more minutes to wrap up the show. So please stay with us for a little bit longer whilst we wrap up the show. Thank you so much.